A lot of people have wanted me to see this. Now, as somebody, I've been watching Boogie on and off ever since, like, Wrath of the Lich King. I don't remember what year it was. Basically, the way that I determine all time zones and all eras in my life is through WoW expansions and not years. So yes, I've watched Boogie on and off ever since Wrath of the Lich King, so this is somewhere between 2008 to 2010. He used to play WoW as well, and so I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. This guy plays WoW, he talks about it, he's popular, etc. Over the years, people have grown to dislike Boogie, and we are going to watch a video on why he apparently deserves to fail. Here we go.
Boogie recently announcing that he's basically broke shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, as if you follow all of his incredibly poor choices made over the last 4 and a bit years, you'll understand that bankruptcy was almost unavoidable. So let's begin by looking at
what do they do?
Years. You'll understand that
I do feel like buying a new car is not, like, it is a bad idea, but I don't think that's really that bad. Like, buying a new Tesla is not like buying a $200,000 car. It's a decent investment. Like a new car. Like, the thing is that, like, I have a lot of friends that spend money on really stupid shit. So, like, my spectrum for, like, dumb money decisions, new car is pretty good.
Bankruptcy was almost unavoidable. So let's begin by looking at October 2018, in which Boogie's main source of income, his YouTube channel, slowly began to die. Up until this point, Boogie had established a reputation as an overweight yet friendly, nerdy gamer, who people considered charming since he was totally fine with each of his flaws.
Yeah, well, people like making fun of the fat guy. Did you guys know that?
When he wasn't playing his fat Francis character, Boogie was telling wholesome stories about his personal life, with one of the more notable ones being a video titled What It's Like to Be Broke.
Yeah.
In this video, Boogie explained that he had grown up in a fairly poor environment.
So they had decent income, it's just they didn't like to spend it on us kids.
It's like he had like a bad relationship with his mom, and it was like it just sucked.
At least on me.
And that as a result of that, he was now much wiser with his income.
Now, you know what I do with my money? Every single dime, every single penny goes into the bank. Because I don't ever want to live that way again.
Which felt both inspiring and relatable, especially...
See, the thing is that, for me, every single dollar and penny does go into the bank, or it goes to Wendy's, or Chipotle, or something like that. But I still live the same way I did whenever I was broke, because that was fucking fine. You know, I get beef jerky. I will say that. I do get beef jerky. That shit's expensive. But other than that, yeah, pretty much the same.
Especially since Boogie highlighted that he now only spent money on things that would improve his videos.
I used every dime to buy better computer equipment, to get better. And after just a year and a half, I was able to go off because I started earning my YouTube income.
This desire to improve the content.
By the way, speaking of that, can you guys start giving me some insight into, like, how I can buy a better camera? Like, I saw that Marcus Brownlee video, and he was just... like, the quality of that camera was so good. If somebody can link me that camera and, like, how I can buy it, I probably will buy something like that.
Unsurprisingly resulted in better uploads, and by early 2014, Boogie passed 1 million subscribers before uploading a new video simply titled How Much Money Does Boogie2988 Make, which felt like yet another wholesome yet modest upload, which had clearly been made with the goal of helping his audience.
I want to make sure you have the tools in mind so that you fully understand how much income we already have coming in and make an educated decision of whether or not you ever want to participate in that kind of thing.
Boogie went on to politely imply that he was making over $100,000 per year from YouTube, which didn't include third-party income like Patreon.
So let's take, for example, a YouTube channel.
Which I do think that, like, saying that you're making over $100,000 a year, I don't think this is, like, a intentional subversion, like, or something like that, you know, by him not including the Patreon. Because for a lot of people, saying that you make over $100K a year is like saying that I don't need help, I'm good. That's a lot.
Similar to mine, that's bringing in 10 million views per month. If a YouTube channel is bringing in 10 million views per month, divide that by 1,000, you've got 10,000. Multiply that by $1, and you'll have a really good idea of how much ad revenue that channel's bringing in.
And that if you counted his YouTube channel as an asset, he himself was worth more than $1 million.
Boogie, are you a millionaire? Well, it depends on how you calculate millionaire. If you include my YouTube channel as it is, yes. After 3 more years, I'll have earned...
So, that means no. So yeah, he was not. Like, so he's using his YouTube channel as an asset, and he's created a value of his YouTube channel to modify what it is. He's saying like, oh, well, you know, if you consider the value of my YouTube channel as like a future asset, but this is like, it's a projected value that he's like amortizing over like a period of time, and he's like saying like, oh, this is how much it is. I think this is like that's something you do with a house, not a YouTube channel. Like, you can't do that with a YouTube channel, because you cannot separate like Boogie2988 from his YouTube channel and then have it create any value.
By then, $1 million total in YouTube ad revenue.
This was followed by Boogie reassuring his audience that all of the money was being used wisely.
The majority of the money we make goes into the bank. We do not live very large by any stretch.
See, like, I don't know why anybody goes out of their way to say shit like this. I think it's like so unnecessary, and it's like you're almost fucking like stroking the ego of the viewer. Like, for me, you know, like, I've got no problem dropping, like, if that camera's $50,000, I'll fucking buy it. It's no problem. Like, I've got bunches of fucking money. I bought my dad a new car. It's no big fucking deal. So if I want to spend a lot of money, I spend a lot of fucking money. If I don't, I don't. I don't need to, like, justify this to anybody, because it's my fucking money. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So it's like, whenever you go and you start making this like some sort of fucking what's the word for it? Some sort of like a soapbox, right? That you stand on about like, oh, I live this way and I do this kind of thing. Like, the way that I live makes me happy, right? And if I want to change that, and maybe I think I'll be happy a different way, I might do that. That's it. Because I am my own person. I grow. I change over time, same as everybody does. And that's all there is to it. Like, I think it's just... Like, I think it's always a mistake for content creators to do what Boogie did. To, like, try to appeal to those kinds of people that have, like, that latent resentment of content creators, and then try to win them over by saying that you don't spend a lot of money. Because, like, that's really what you're doing, is you're winning over those people that have, like, that resentment. I think those are the real people that you turn from being against you to either neutral or for you. So don't ever do that. As I said, never court the opinion or the desire from people who do not like you. It will only make you unhappy.
Imagination. I mean, obviously, I'm large, but we do not spend a grotesque amount of money.
Which led to more positive comments such as, wild guess, but he's very rich now. He deserves it. He's one of the only YouTubers that didn't let the money and fame get to his head. He's still just as humble and cool as when he started. I admire that.
The best part about this is, like, I get comments like this, and then there'll be a reply under that. Bro, what the fuck do you mean? Baldy used to be cool. He used to play WoW, talk about politics with McConnell at 4 a.m, and we used to be boys. Now he's sold out. He's a liberal. He plays Final Fantasy, and he said he likes anime. Okay? So no, he's not cool, all right? Yeah, he's part of the agenda. Yeah, I see these all the time.
Amazing video, Boogie. You're one of the realest, most transparent YouTubers out there, and please know that your fans appreciate it. I clicked on this video randomly and I stayed to watch, and to be honest, I'm really happy this guy makes a lot of money. Don't know him, never seen his videos, but I'm just glad that he makes money. He's very humble and I respect that a lot. This positive sentiment toward Boogie resulted in more views, subscribers, and Patreon members, which strengthened his financial position immediately, whilst also giving him the chance to stream on Twitch.
Well, another big reason why Boogie's videos were good is because they were insightful, uplifting, and positive. Like, that's really why Boogie's channel was successful, is that he was like the guy that everybody knew that made it. He was a guy that was likable, that made it. He was funny. He was, and more than funny, he was endearing. A lot of people liked him for that reason. So I don't think it's because he was like selling himself as being poor or anything like that. I think it's also the quality of the videos was just higher then. It's that simple. And the content of the videos was better.
opening up another source of income which kept him financially stable during the adpocalypse.
I will be fine. Losing my YouTube ad revenue will hit us pretty hard, but I've diversified our income.
Things were going so well for Boogie that in August of 2017, he paid for weight loss surgery.
I'm home from surgery, that everything went well. The surgery went way better than I had expected. The doctor did it in a very short period of time.
However, while this would initially improve Boogie's health dramatically,
I'm 110 pounds down since the pre-op diet, and then I've lost 7.5 inches from my waistline.
it would eventually contribute to him going broke in an unexpected way. Boogie explained in a video that for married people, the weight loss surgery tremendously increases the likelihood that you'll end up getting divorced.
Oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, for sure. No, because like let's say you're fat, all right? I'm gonna just put it right on the nose. Let's say you're fat and you're dating a guy, you've been with a guy for a long time and you're settling. But you get the weight loss surgery, now you look better, now more people are giving you attention, now you feel like you have other possibilities, other prospects, and you break up. Yeah, it's codependent as fuck. Most fucking relationships are codependent on some level. Of course, yeah. Typical woman move. Bro, I hate women. You are so right. They are the worst, aren't they? Yeah, anytime we find out there's a girl in the chat, we ban them. That's right, brother. Hell yeah. Classic Tate W.
Surgery and the recovery from it is really, really hard on a marriage. 85% of marriages fail after the surgery within the first 2 years.
He added that in the lead up to the surgery, his marriage was already in a rough...
Yeah, I think this makes sense given the like fucking the Venn diagram of like attraction and weight, right? If you're fat, you're ugly. Nobody says skinny and ugly, they say fat and ugly. It's that simple.
spot.
Our marriage was far from perfect. One major issue that was persistent throughout the entire marriage, and that was my anxiety disorder.
And as a result of him now being in a healthier condition, his wife suggested that they should divorce.
She told me that she was thinking about separating now that I was out of the surgery and now that I was nice and healthy. We talked about it and decided that she should take a break. 2 weeks into that, she called up and said that she had made her decision, that she wanted things to be a more permanent change, and that we should start moving in that direction.
Boogie explained that his wife was...
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, it's hard for me really to know, like, why they got divorced or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes. I think this is a way bigger deal than he let on. Well, yeah, I mean, like, getting divorced from his wife is a big problem. I think that, like, really, like, I could see a world where, like, the wife feels like she is responsible for him, and then at the point where he is now no longer, like, 6 months away from being bedridden if he has health problems, that she feels like she can move on past that. Caretaker syndrome? Yeah, it's very common.
Extremely generous in the divorce, having stated that she wanted far less than 50% of the finances.
And she's like, I want enough to where I know I'm going to be taken care of. And I'm like, okay. So she gave me a number, and I'm like, but that's not half.
More
It wasn't half of what we were worth.
It was less.
It was less.
However, as a result of the law, Boogie ended up giving her half of what he had anyway.
Well, I think that's what he should do. I am a traditionalist marriage enjoyer. I know this might upset many tater tots in chat. I am a traditionalist marriage enjoyer. I think this is the way that we've done shit for a long time. I think it works, and it's the most stable environment to have a family in. I think it's the best one. People can hate me about it all they want, but that's the way I feel.
She's legally entitled to 50% of everything we own. You're gonna make sure it's half, so she has no recourse moving forward.
While Boogie's financial position had taken a pretty substantial hit, his audience was still cheering for him with comments such as, "I hope this is the birth of a new Boogie, a healthy Boogie, no baggage, just a happy, healthy, outgoing Boogie." How
It sucks to have people say that and make comments like that the relationship was baggage, etc. That sucks. I think like every online public relationship gets comments and critique like this.
However, after his marriage would officially come to an end, the opposite of this happened.
And also, like, I mean, this is just like, I mean, yeah, at a certain point, like, if you share this kind of stuff and you put yourself out there, like, you're gonna get these kinds of comments. Like, that's what happens whenever you go online. It's like you can't stick your hand in a beehive and be like, damn, bro, what's all these bees doing here? Well, get your fucking hand out of the beehive. Like, this is just what happens. It doesn't mean that it's the same as, like, whenever I tell people, like, if you make content online and you have a really thin skin and you can't deal with criticism, you should not make content online. You should not do it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's good that people criticize other people. It's bad that people do it, but it still should be accepted, and you should be honest with yourself and with reality that it will happen.
My brain is kind of in a situation where it's just chaos all the time. It's just chaos. This emotional stew in my brain all the time of positive feelings, negative feelings, numbness, frustration, and anger, you know.
Not only had the split resulted in a massive blow to Boogie's mental health, but throughout the process, the storytime rambling videos, which were once uplifting, inspirational, and designed to help his viewers, began to feel like they were being made with the goal.
Remember what I was saying before about how the content wasn't as good? And, like, that's really all that matters. Like, nobody gives a fuck about anything else except for the content. Content goes down, people don't like you. Content goes up, people do like you. Content's all that fucking matters.
Of receiving sympathy pity from the audience. Additionally, Boogie's positive can-do attitude, where he wanted to invest his savings into making excellent content for the viewers, had transformed into this complete lack of confidence for the future of his channel.
And I'm not smart enough to be able to figure that stuff out. I'll never be good at titles. I'll never be good at thumbnails. I'm not even that good at video creation.
Leading him to develop an attitude of just wanting to get by as opposed to wanting to grow his audience.
And, like, if you contextualize this shit that's, like, about the dude and he loses his wife and, like, he's been with this girl for, like, fucking 5 or 10 years. I mean, I feel like a lot of us, I'll admit it, I felt that way after I've broken up with a long-term girlfriend before. I felt absolutely fucking awful. So I think it's totally fair for somebody to feel that way. Yeah, it's a dark place to be in. Confidence is shot. Yeah. It sucks. Even me. Even me, this shit happened to.
As long as my rent is paid, as long as my mortgage is paid, as long as I can keep the lights on, as long as I can support myself and the people that I currently employ, hey, I'm happy with that.
The final video related to his divorce, in which Boogie explained that he now fully owned his house again, happened to have been uploaded in October 2018, which was the very same month where Boogie began to lose subscribers. The decline will be addressed in a video titled State of the Channel 2019.
Yeah, it's like nobody wants to see that fucking shit, man. Nobody wants to see, like, that kind of stress. It's like people go on the internet to forget about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they go on the internet, they don't want to deal with, like, any of the fucking, like, negativity, etc. Like, for you guys, like, for example, there have been many days whenever I've had, like, some really bad shit happen in my life, and I go live. And I don't talk about it. I don't go and be like, oh, this is so bad that this happened to me. Like, and the thing is, it's not like I do that for you guys. I also do it for myself, because, like, it keeps my mind off of it. It keeps me thinking about something that's more positive rather than just fucking, you know, getting fixated on something that's, like, really unhappy and stressful. So it's like, I remember after, like, I lost my mom last year, I was so happy to be able to go live and just not think about that shit and play WoW and hang out with you guys. And I didn't want to talk about it all the time because I was doing this to fucking forget about it, you know? And it helped a lot. So yeah, I mean, like, it's not a bad thing to do this. It's not like it's fake or anything like that. Everybody puts on a different face, and it's healthy, I think. Takes your mind off things, yeah.
In which he mentioned that the breakup had a significant impact on the channel's viewership.
2018, as we've talked about, was one of the roughest years of my life, and it really showed here on the channel.
Before going on to state that the Storytime Pity Party videos were also impacting the channel negatively.
Yeah, nobody wants to fucking hear about how bad it is for you, because the truth is that there's a lot of people on the internet that think that the only difference between them and a successful content creator is luck. That's all there is to it. So whenever they see somebody who is in a lifestyle that they envy and then that person is expressing some degree of remorse or unhappiness, it creates resentment in the eyes of those viewers because they think to themselves, man, if I had what he had, I would never be unhappy. Man, if I had this, if I had this opportunity, if I did this, I would be happy. And the truth is, like, for a lot of these guys, that's probably fucking true for a large extent, right? Because many of the people that think this kind of shit are really young. You know, it's like if you're 19, if you're 21 years old, the odds are the biggest problem in your life is money. You know, your parents in a lot of cases are still relatively healthy. You are probably still relatively healthy. You probably still have a group of friends, either through residuals from high school, college, maybe you have people from work, etc. And so whenever you're, you know, like fucking 40, like Boogie is, 35, etc., you know, you start to see that, you know, things are a little bit more complicated than that. Of course you do. But, like, I think that a lot of this type of resentment comes from younger people that only look at the world through the lens that they've experienced, which is fair. So whenever Boogie is complaining about how bad his life is, meanwhile he's making YouTube videos all the time, that large group of young, and also not just young, but naive viewers is going to immediately resent him for that. Never complain. It's like chickens. Like, one chicken starts bleeding, everybody, the fucking chicken pecks it until it's dead. That's what happens. What's the solution? You don't fucking bleed. You can't start bleeding and be like, don't peck me. They're gonna peck you. It's what's gonna happen.
Just complain and whine and just be miserable. Sharing who and what I am has been counterproductive in quite a bit in the last year or so. Yeah. Mostly when it comes to the mental issues, the anxiety, the depression, stuff like that.
Boogie would conclude.
I think also, like, it depends on the way that you do it. Like, for example, like, I used to do Zach Rar videos, like on my second YouTube channel, like the Zach Rar YouTube channel, and I would talk a lot more about like real life issues that I had and like just kind of like personal stuff, etc. And it wasn't like part of my main content. So it's like I would very rarely share, like, I never made a video, for example, as far as I know, about like, you know, different breakups and relationship developments, etc. that I've had. You know, usually that's kind of separate, and it's just kind of like I talk about it on my stream regularly, sure, but I don't like make content out of it, if that makes sense. And I have that for my own personal channels, and, you know, like, that's so people that care. And I think it's also good for me to, like, sometimes I like writing things, because writing things helps me understand them better by putting them into words in like a more succinct way. So, like, in the same way that writing things helps me understand what I think better, I think making videos helps me understand how I feel better sometimes. So I think that's one of the big positives that videos provide for me.
The video by stating that he was very excited about the future.
I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm very engaged and excited about what we will be doing here on the channel.
However, only 3 days after this video was uploaded, a now infamous mega thread would be posted to Reddit, which would go on to significantly impact Boogie's reputation.
Yeah.
It was titled "The Hidden Truth Boogie Doesn't Want You to Know," and it featured over 5,000 words, showcasing that Boogie wasn't exactly the nice guy he tried to portray.
Yeah.
The thread brought up topics such as his behavior on stream, various edgy comments he had made over the years, as well as the way he acted in his marriage, with commenters stating this document is up there with the Constitution and the Magna Carta. However,
I always thought that the people that were involved with this thread were losers. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I think that this is like 100% loser, like, fucking freak behavior. Like, I cannot imagine in my life having this much of a investment in another man on the internet. I think it's just so unhealthy. It's very hard to say that, like, this should have been removed. I think that the problem is that, and this is kind of what happens with like a lot of like Reddit criticism, is that the criticism at face value is like really not that bad, but it's then people read it and then they watch it and then they turn it into something that's like way fucking worse, right? And like you see this on, like, for example, like LSF, right? You'll see an LSF thread about a person saying something, and then all the comments are like way fucking worse. And it's like the farther down you go, the farther into the comment threads you go, the more extreme and hostile people are. And it's disappointing because it's like you want to give people feedback, you want to give people criticism, etc. And I think that's fair, but like it's also a problem because people that actually have genuine hate use any platform of criticism to springboard off of and actually project that hate. So it's very hard to do this in a way that's healthy. A little bit of criticism turns into a lot of hate and negativity. Yeah, exactly. It's like somebody gets criticism for like one thing, and then like all the comments are people that bring out like 50 other things this person's done over the course of like 3 years.
The thread was posted to a fairly unknown subreddit, and if Boogie had simply ignored the thread, people likely would have forgotten about it, although this isn't what would happen. Boogie instead decided to wage a war against the person who began the mega thread.
I started a war. This guy has been coming at me for 5 years.
Before going on to complain about the criticism in countless.
What do you say? Legit beg for money sarcastically, same a financial situation. Of course I didn't. Yeah, so basically like the more that you... Like, I think it's fine to, like, make a statement on something and say, like, yeah, you know, I know what people think about this. I don't agree with it. I think these things are not true. But the more that you fight people with that, the more that you will get them to just press the issue irrationally. And I see this all the time on my stream. It's like whenever I make a statement like, you know, the earth revolves around the sun, and people are like, yeah, but how do you really know that? Like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, what do you really know? Like, you're stupid. You don't know anything. Just play video games. Right? And so the more that I argue with people about the earth revolving around the sun, the more people will pretend like the sun revolves around the earth to fuck with me. And this is just what happens. And so the way that I handle this is anybody who does that, I just instantly ban them, and I don't even engage with it at all. So, like, yeah, which is like, that's what I think you should do. Because a person who's like deliberately trying to make you mad or annoy you or something like that, just shut it down. There's no reason to tolerate that for any reason. There's no purpose to it. There's no value in it. It's just worthless. So the more that you spend your time arguing with people about their judgment of you, that's the more time that you give that person control over you. Does that make sense? So like if your goal is to change somebody else's opinion, that person now has control over you because they can control you by not changing or by changing their opinion. Never give other people control.
Been coming at me for 5 years.
Before going on to complain about the criticism in countless different videos.
This subreddit has been actively attacking me and going through everything I've ever said and ever done on the internet for the last 3 years.
Just 2 years prior, in 2017, Boogie was handling criticism much more effectively, even stating that some of the points were valid.
A lot of people have been discussing me over the past couple weeks. I've been on the front page of Reddit, and they tend to discuss me in a very negative light, which is reasonable.
And obviously, Boogie's new 2019 strategy of trying to stop the criticism only led to more criticism. 3 months after the...
Yeah, the way you do it is you just address it. People that press the issue, permaban them, and don't talk about it. That's how you deal with criticism. And if you don't want to deal with the criticism, then just don't talk about it. That is my best advice. And like, blood in the water. Yeah, it's blood in the water. Like the moment you start talking about that shit or whatever, it's always bad.
Mega thread was posted, Boogie would upload a new video titled Taking a Break, I Give Up, You Guys Win, in which he'd state that he needed a short break as a result of being anxious and nervous. With fewer uploads and a declining reputation, his monthly subscriber count began to fall off a cliff, losing 5,000, 14,000, 28,000, before losing another 42,000 in August 2019, representing a decline of more than 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it was a lot of people started unsubscribing. Yeah, can't burn ban on YouTube? You absolutely can. Like, all you do is you go to their comment and then you click hide user from channel and you shadow ban their account and none of their comments ever show up again. You absolutely can.
only 4 months. Rather than improving the content, Boogie ramped up the complaints and apologies, which not only led to a decrease in views from an average of 10 million per month
to be fair, like right around here was whenever there was a lot of like big YouTube drama with like Keemstar, Grade A, Under A, Leafy, all of these people, like they were completely popping off somewhere around here. So like Boogie had a disproportionately large viewer base at that time. Like that was kind of that was like a fucking hot spot for YouTube in general.
2 million per month, but it also led to comments from his audience such as, I used to watch every video before. For me, you were like the Mr. Rogers of YouTube. Soft, understanding, and compassionate. Lately, it had just been apologies and complaining. I miss the old content, not because of Francis or gaming or whatever, but because of that person.
Yeah, you can never, the thing is, like, you're never gonna meet some naive child's expectation of you being Mr. Rogers of YouTube. Like, this is never going to happen. There's always going to be a thing that people can put on you or try to make you look bad and try to change it. Like, it's always a bad idea to try to be super nice and win people over by being super nice, in my opinion.
Despite Boogie's clear decline in his views, subscribers, and income, his spending habits hadn't changed one bit, as midway through this collapse, he'd announced that he was taking on a $100,000 loan to purchase a Tesla.
I ended up buying the X. I still haven't got it fully financed yet. I'm having to finance it, obviously.
Oh my god, I just put myself...
See, like, I would have no problem, like, if the guy said, like, yeah, I bought a new car, it's like a Toyota Corolla, it was $38,000. Like, that's whatever. But if you're buying a $100,000 car, this is a bad financial decision. And the truth is, though, I mean, you have to contextualize this. Boogie grew up poor as shit. How many of you guys know people that grew up poor as shit that make absolute dog shit financial decisions? It's the cycle of poverty. This is just what happens. This is a codified fact. There are terms for it. There are studies that reinforce this. This is true. So I get that, like, yeah, Boogie's an idiot for doing this, but you have to look at it from where he's coming from as well.
$100,000 in debt. My car payment's $1,700 a month or something like that. That's more money than I make on Twitch. That's like half of my YouTube revenue this month.
Boogie then made a tweet about how expensive the car was, giving him another opportunity to make himself look like
no viewer wants to sit around and hear you talk unless you're like one of those like YouTubers that are like they're just like a douchebag YouTuber and they're an asshole. It's like Jake Paul or like Logan Paul. He can talk about how much money he makes all the time and people are gonna like him more for it. It's because like and I think these guys are great. I think they're fucking funny, to be honest with you. I really do, because I don't take it seriously. But most average people don't want to hear a YouTube content creator talk about how much money they're making. Because again, it goes back to what I was saying about people that are living in resentment of the fact that they're not in that position. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? How do you make decisions, not simulate the repercussions in your head beforehand? I don't know. People do that all the time. Like, I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, that's just how people do things. They're impulsive. They make bad decisions. Or they grew up poor. They've got a lot of money. They're like, I'm going to do it. I should do it. Yeah, should I do it? Okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah, let's do it. And then they do it. That's what happens. Like, a lot of people are very bad at at managing money. Like, for me, I never was bad at managing money. Why is that? Because my parents would give me $30 every week or $20. I forgot even which one it was. I think it was 30 and then at some point it was 20. And they said, you can do whatever the fuck you want with this. You can buy lunch. You can buy drugs. You can buy a gun. Just don't let us hear about it. This is your money. And so you can buy magic cards. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. And I did. I saved the money and I bought a fucking Xbox. I bought a PlayStation. Actually, my dad bought me a PlayStation. But yeah, so they taught me how to save money and control the amount of spending that I had. But also my parents were very financially literate. They were good at making decisions in general, especially my dad. My mom, not really quite as much. But overall, they did that, and they gave me that ability to do this. Other people that grew up and they didn't have as much money, they might not have had the same opportunity that I did to grow up and learn budgeting the hard way. Did you pay for your own WoW? No, I put on my dad's card. I told him I was buying a t-shirt every month for like 3 months, and then he kind of just forgot about it. Like, he was paying for it up until like BFA. Like, yeah, like, I mean, I'm talking about, like, I had this, like, this con was going on for, like, way more than a decade. Better part of 2 decades.
Idiot.
I tweeted out that I was not going to be able to afford this.
Let me see this. Realizing I bought a car I can barely afford. Do you think my anxiety would be going nuts? It isn't. I'm feeling confident that I can work harder every day and use this car as debt and inspiration and create better content. Confidence feels good. That's a good... You know what? I actually don't... Like, I don't mind this... I don't mind this tweet at all. I think this is a good tweet. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. That never works. Oh, no, it works sometimes. Oh, no, I don't think it's a good idea. You should not do this, but it does work for a lot of people. This is what happened with me. Like, I worked a lot harder streaming because they told me I had to fucking pay 50 grand in order to get my teeth fixed. I was like, well, fuck, I got to make some better videos. I got to stream. So it worked for me.
To make himself look like an idiot.
I tweeted out that I was not going to be able to afford this car.
Reddit and Twitter lost their minds. Oh, are you trying to manipulate people into giving you money?
The answer is yes. Give me some money. If you guys want to help...
See, the problem is that Boogie, like, I say this all the time, but the problem is Boogie pretended like this wasn't who he was. And this is the issue. Right? Is like, if he had started off YouTube in 2008 or whenever he started, and he had been the same as me, like just a complete fucking degenerate asshole that, basically lives at the expense of other people, exists at the expense of other people, and people just generally, get used to it, and they're like, yeah, but he's, some of the videos are funny, so it's okay. Like, everybody give him money, it'll be fine. But you can't go and pretend to be a nice guy if you're not a nice guy. You never drop character. This is what I said before. You know why Keemstar is still popular? Is because he never breaks character. Never. There's never, like, yeah, he'll make a tweet like, oh, wow, everybody's been hating on me. It fucking sucks, right? But he doesn't really cry and complain about this. He never apologizes for fucking anything. He just immediately goes back and keeps going as hard as he possibly can. It's not a character. Well, the thing is, don't make a character then. For example, Athene could have done all of this stuff that he wanted, but then the moment that he went into the science shit and the cult shit, etc., he could have started a cult that would have been great. But you can't drop character and then start the cult, because then it's a weird fucking, like, what's this dissonance here? Like, you have the cult, you want to get people into the cult, drinking Kool-Aid with suicide rituals and living in a fucking abandoned Nazi bunker. Well, guess what? You have to be funny to get them to show up. And that's all it comes down to. Yeah, it was a crazy video, huh? Look it up. And so anyway, the Kool-Aid and suicide ritual thing, that was another cult, to be fair, though. The point that I'm saying is that you never break character. Never break character. And the best way to never break character is to not be one. You don't be a character. Like, if you meet me in real life, I'm pretty much like this. I usually talk louder whenever I'm on stream, and I try to enunciate my words better. But other than that, I'm pretty much the same. I'm generally quieter, though. I'm more reserved. I'm not very outgoing at all. And the same as, you don't see me collabing with other streamers on Twitch either. I'm not very outgoing. I'm a very reserved person. Yeah. So, I never break character. Because, and this is what remember I was saying before, how, like, you can only get canceled by your audience if you turn into a person that they thought you weren't? This is an example of that.
Help me pay for my Tesla. Please go ahead and dig deep. I sure would like a free Tesla. Reach down in your pockets and give me $100,000 tonight.
Which becomes even worse after he'd mentioned that
it's a bad sell. Like, I could have sold that way better, okay? Like, I mean, we can give Boogie a little bit of hate. What a pathetic sell. You need to get better at begging for money, okay? Like, I think DSP does a pretty good job begging for money. He does. He's like, you know, we all got to chip in. He makes it like it's a group effort. And he talks about, like, different things that you're going to get out of shipping in and, like, making money. Like, DSP, yeah, he does a good job. There's other people that do a very good, Slicker, right? Any King's Yo King, right? There's a good way to beg for money and a bad way to beg for money.
Owed a bunch of money on his house.
My house is worth $300,000. I still owe $200,000 in the house.
And that he knew that Tesla was going to decline in value over time.
But that car is just going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as it goes.
In the year that followed, Boogie's Patreon members almost halved from 120 down to 65, partially as a result of him taking long breaks from creating content.
You'll notice that for the last 3 weeks, I've really not been updated. I have not streamed in 3 weeks.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you upload daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. It makes no difference. Mr. Beast uploads once a month. Internet Historian uploads once a year. Like, I upload 7 times a day. As long as you are putting out content that is good, it doesn't matter how long of a break you take. As long as your content still resonates with the audience, that's the only thing that matters. I've taken massive breaks from streaming before. I've come back and people have still watched. Why is that? It's because the content's good. If the content sucks, they leave. It's that simple.
Which accompanied the transformation of his comment section from a once positive place full of
Patreon,
supporters to a wasteland of
point.
negativity full of detractors.
Yeah, very good point. If you do have people that are paying you at a monthly level, and then you stop providing content at that same level, it's only obvious that your amount of supporters is going to decrease, which is fine.
It's incredible how openly money-oriented this guy is. This guy talks like a minister from some cheesy, scammy late-night ministry where you're supposed to send a $50 check for good luck.
I remember I had a friend of mine, he used to sell arena carries, and this guy said his PayPal was locked because he was like scamming people, but he still wanted to buy a $2,200 carry. And I remember I had my friend Johnny sitting in a Skype call, me, him, and this other dude, and this guy Johnny was trying to get him to put a $20 fucking bill in an envelope and mail it to his home address with USPS, with the actual fucking postal system. Yeah, so put the $20 in the, like, take a picture of the $20 with my address on the envelope and we'll get you the carry, man. Yeah, for 2,200 rating. Yeah, this is a big deal. This is like back in Cataclysm.
Imagine this guy would win the lottery. He'd be broke within 12 months, which would eventually turn out to be somewhat accurate. After his back and forth with Frank Hassel in early 2021, Boogie,
by the way, I think Boogie was totally in the right for,
had to shell out a bunch of money for
somebody shows up at your fucking house and their last name is literally Hassel. The only thing that he did wrong is he fired a warning shot. I would have been more okay if he shot the guy than if he shot the warning shot. Stand your fucking ground, brother. Castle doctrine. You show up at somebody's house, you fuck around, you're gonna find out. You don't fucking show up at people's house trying to start shit. I live in Texas. I like it here.
Legal fees.
Let me point out just how expensive all of this was. And obviously, I took money out of my bank account and I paid for it out of pocket. This cost tens of thousands of dollars.
And I want to reemphasize that Boogie made a terrible decision firing that warning shot. Absolutely indefensible. He should not have done that for any reason. He could have fired it at the ground. Even that would have been better. Huge fucking mistake to have done that. Boogie totally fucked up by doing that.
Fight.
Which also resulted in Boogie producing less content.
I was advised by everyone to live stream less, to make less YouTube videos, to say less things that could be taken out of context and used against me before we had a result, because you know from Reddit and 4chan that that's what they like to do to me. But that cost me a small fortune and lost wages and lost ad revenue as well.
However, thankfully, according to a video titled I Am Finally Rich, How Crypto Made Me Rich, Boogie apparently...
Well, that's great. I mean, I'm sure... you know, since the title of this video is Boogie2988 Deserves His Failure, I guess he invested, did he invest in Terra Luna or CX coin, guys? Maybe he was an investor in FTX. Crypto rich. Yeah, being crypto rich, it's the same thing as being rich, except for you don't have any money.
apparently had no financial problems
Except the money's
whatsoever.
not real.
In the video, he explained that back in 2019, Boogie had taken a massive gamble by purchasing a bunch of cryptocurrency, and by early 2021, he had quadrupled his money.
Should have cashed out. What 4xing isn't enough for you? You should have cashed. Why didn't you cash out? Everybody, they gotta try to keep going. You've got, the first thing you do whenever you gamble is you make your money back. This is the way that I gamble money. First thing I do is I get my money back, and then I gamble like a crackhead. I make 1,000 to 2,000 bets. I'm like train wrecks. And like eventually you win. And then he posts that fucking sports bet card of stake where he vested like $2,000 and the payout is like 1.3 million. You don't see the other 99 times he did it didn't work. That's whatever, right? But like it happened once and you just keep doing it. But you make your money back first. That's the first thing you do. You get your money back in your pocket, then you get to have fun. You know when to hold them, you know when to fold them. That's right, brother.
I basically took every dime I had in liquid funds and invested it in a huge gamble. I invested pretty much everything I had into cryptocurrency. I invested all the way back here, and yeah, that's where we currently are with that market. So to say that I doubled my money is an understatement. In fact, I did more than that.
Boogie then tried to pathetically coax his audience into trying to give him...
Wait, hold up. How much is Bitcoin now? It's like 20 grand, right? Bitcoin's like 20 grand? It's like 16? So like he's still 2x'd. Like, because if he's showing the $8,000 marker as the investment date, he's still 2x'd. And like inside of the window of the costs there, he probably came out ahead of inflation. Well, maybe not after Brandon, but like I think still probably he's still ahead. Yeah, so like what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, if he invested in Bitcoin, he'd have been fine.
More money.
Never feel pressured to get one of those memberships down below. Never feel pressured to subscribe on Twitch. Never feel pressured to make a donation or interact with one of my sponsors. Never feel pressured to buy a t-shirt.
Before going on to state that he planned on taking the money out of crypto to put it into a safer investment.
Very smart thing to do. Very, very, very smart thing to do.
And that's if I don't take the money and invest it in something that will make me money, which I am most certainly going to do.
However, as highlighted by almost every comment, the video aged.
So basically, yeah, I pretty much can expect this would have happened. Proceeds to beg on Twitter, also never feel pressured. Well, it's like you have to, the thing is, a lot of people don't know how to sell. That's the truth. Like, they don't know how to sell. They don't know how to create value. They don't know how to create a perceived value in the eye of the customer. They just don't get it.
Incredibly poorly, because only a year after posting it, Boogie uploaded a new video titled I Need Your Help, in which he explained that he had lost almost all of his money.
Gambled all his money on crypto, proceeds to beg his audience for money.
To the crypto market, and now required donations from the audience.
Well, this is a video I've dreaded making. You know, I spent a tremendous amount of money on dumb things. But the biggest issue is that I had a nice big nest egg, but I put my money in the crypto market in the wrong section, and I pretty much lost most of everything.
Well, I thought you said you're going to take it out, though. Like, because you said you're going to take it out. Now it's not out. So, like, what happened? You know what I mean? You kept buying? Yeah, it's like the first thing you do, you always get your money back. Get your money back. Guys, can you please do this? And if you spend money and you're gambling and you lose all your money, that's it. You're done. You're done. You don't, it's not like, oh, if I just spend a little bit more, I'll get it back. No, you won't. No, sometimes like you're done. You're done. You lost. It's over. Come back next week, next month, next year. Try it again. Best case scenario, never fucking come back and don't gamble. However, a lot of dumb people out there. Make your fucking money back. And then after that, gamble like a crackhead until it's all gone. And then you had a good time, you can go home. That's it.
This the most interesting case study, watching someone who hasn't had to work in over a decade finally have to go back to work. I remember him saying, "Don't worry about me. I'm financially secure to the point that if I stop making videos tomorrow, I can live comfortably for the rest of my life."
Well, that's just what happens, right? I mean, fuck, like you could have the IRS say you owe them back taxes, you have a medical condition that requires medical attention that is expensive. You can have a kid, let's say you have a kid and the kid has a medical attention, a medical, affliction, and it's like they need attention. Right, there's a lot of different reasons why this could happen, and this is why I never really say stuff like this. Like right now, I'm very financially stable. Everything is going great for me. I'm very lucky. And, maybe in the future that might not be the case, but the sun is shining right now, and it's a beautiful day. Hopefully it stays that way for as long as possible. That's the way life is, right? It's like, I remember I had $30 and I felt like I was balling. I'll tell you guys one thing, I was thinking about this today. If you guys have problems spending money and like you're spending too much money, buy everything with cash. If you're anything like me, you feel a lot dumber buying something for $45 if you're shelling out three $20 bills than if you're just using it on the card. Because like the card, it's like it's not immediately accessible in your fucking hand of like the money that you're spending. You know what I mean? Like you're not immediately seeing it leave your hands. Like, I feel like whenever I'm spending cash, I don't spend any fucking money, right? I mean, this Benjamin's just staying in my fucking wallet. Like, this is going to stay here, and that's going to be it. Yeah, I don't spend any money because I don't have much to spend. Yeah, all I'm saying is that if you're having money problems, start buying things and dealing with things in cash. And I mean, at least think about that. For me, it definitely makes me spend a lot less money.
Just remember that the reason this video was filmed in his garden is because if it was filmed in his office, we'd all be able to see his thousands of dollars worth of arcade machines, magic cards, and gaming memorabilia.
Very good point. I think that, a lot of the criticism of Boogie is relatively unfounded and kind of unfair. However, if you have a bunch of arcade machines and magic cards and gaming memorabilia, you can absolutely sell those.
While it's almost impossible to find a single positive comment on the entire video, Boogie...
What's this here? Move back here. Longtime fans say, nah, fam. Once in a lifetime YouTuber and personality, yet it's our responsibility to keep you afloat. If you wanted to create content, you would. True. 11K likes, 26K dislikes. You're uncurious. Sorry, you have to work, man. We all do. And this is the kind of shit. Remember what I was saying before about how people have the lingering resentment? This is the comment that has 7,000 likes. Because they resent the fact that he doesn't have to work and that they do. He's actually right, though? No, but what I'm saying is, like, even if he's right, what I'm saying is that you don't want to trigger that resentment. This is what happens whenever your audience grows up and entertained by angry fat man break stuff. Well, that's not true at all. Number one, he's not fat anymore, so that changed. Number two, he's not mad anymore, he's sad. Sad skinny man doesn't break anything. I mean, fuck. That doesn't sound like a good video. That's boring as hell. He's still 300 pounds? Bro, he lost a lot of weight, let's be honest. Yeah, who would watch that? Like how he talks about the issues as if they're the viewer's problem. That is true. It's a good point.
Boogie would receive $1,109 in donations. However, this small figure was certainly at the expense of his...
That's not donations, that's revenue. Like, I mean, if he had done this on Twitch... See, like, if Boogie ever wants any help finessing viewers out of money, look, like, we follow each other on Twitter, just hit me up. Like, you have to, like, you're doing it, you're going about this all the wrong way, man. Like, you're doing this so wrong.
And reputation. Boogie hasn't seen a single month of positive subscriber growth since May of 2019, almost 4 years ago, and with no clear desire to change any of his daily habits, it's unlikely that his YouTube channel or financial situation will see any kind of recovery anytime soon.
I will probably watch this tomorrow. I'm not gonna watch it today. But
Boogie recently announcing
I'll go
that
ahead. I'll read some of the comments on this. Yeah, is desperate enough for a botnet? I don't know. Elon. Yeah, that's that's a Twitter guy. Watch the novel video now. I got a bunch of other shit that I want to look at first, man. Like, how are you that impulsive on camera? You mean like with this? Like, I mean like. I think being impulsive is not a good thing. In general, like, I am not an impulsive person. I am a very reserved, meticulous person. I don't like making decisions on a whim. Usually I decide what I'm going to eat for dinner before I even get out of bed. Chipotle today, by the way. It's going to be great. So yeah, what's this here? New Internet Storm View. I'm gonna look, guys. Let me just get through everything. All right, just chill out, and we're gonna go from there. Yeah, surgery, lose weight, probably more fucked than before. Requirements taking care of yourself, or stomach staying healthy. I don't fucking know. Like, the thing is that if I was in that situation, it's like, you gotta change your life. Like, for over 7 years, I didn't really eat any candy. Because my teeth were so rotted, I couldn't eat candy. That's the way it goes. That's life. That's what happens. Yeah, you just deal with it. Well, I got people plan dinner the entire week. It's not particularly impressive. Well, okay. There was one time I planned to get an achievement in Legion, and I had an 18-month plan, and I did it. I did it. The incremental 18-month plan. That's right. It was a longer plan than my degree in college. I dropped out. Yeah, what an achievement. I know. Yeah, it was 10 points, actually. Yeah, in case anybody was wondering. It wasn't one of the 50 ones. Actually, maybe it was 50. I don't remember. Moral of the story, don't use your audience as a substitute for actual therapy. True, true, true. So fucking true. And this is something that, like, streamers do, too. Like, I think it's okay to complain about some things on stream, about people harassing you, etc. But you guys notice, like, I don't really talk a lot about, like, things that are bothering me a whole lot. Like, sometimes I'll bring something up. I'll be like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I've had to deal with this, etc. But, like, I don't spend a lot of time harping on it and, like, making a big issue about it. The more that you try to ask people, like, for their advice, the more they're going to be mad whenever you don't take it. So it's like, yeah, I thought you had a business degree. Oh, I did. I was going to get a CIS degree, Computer Information Systems degree. I wanted to go to law school after that. And I dropped out of that. Yeah, I've got a business degree. Business administration. I learned more from WoW. Yeah. Learned more from World of Warcraft than I did from business school. Minus like a handful of little tidbits of information, way more from WoW. I have that too. It's useless. Yeah. You have that sheet of paper. Yeah. It doesn't do anything. You spent more time on WoW. True. Let's see. As prime example of never sharing your financial status. I don't think it's a problem to share your financial status. I think there's plenty of times whenever people say, like, oh, they need money or whatever. It's like a bad situation, etc. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just that you have to do it in the right way. It's, again, people don't know how to sell. That's all it comes down to. They don't know how to sell. You don't know how to sell, don't try to. The worst thing that you can do is to try to sell something that you're not confident in, or try to sell something that you're not good at selling. Like, if I'm confident in what I'm selling and I know everything about it, I can sell it. But if I don't, I'm not going to even try. I don't want to do that. You live in a room, basically. You should downsize and recreate your room into a tiny house. No. Why would I do anything? Everything's fine. Why the fuck? Why would I do anything? Like, why? I don't need to fucking do anything. I don't want to do anything, right? Like, there's a house that was like nearby me. It was on sale. It was like a house that I'd always walk by when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking buy this house when I get older. And I didn't fucking buy it. I feel like an idiot. I feel like a fucking moron. I didn't buy that house. I'm pissed. Somebody else bought it. I texted the realtor. I said, bro, how much is it? The guy never responded. Yeah, it was a huge fucking L. I feel like an idiot. It probably would appreciate like 3x in value too. I'm pissed. Wonder why? Yeah, it was like $1 million house too. A big surprise. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we're gonna skip this one. The more we ignore the problem, the more it goes away. The more it goes away. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. Most problems, don't let anybody tell you that problems won't go away if you ignore them. That's not true. Most problems go away if you ignore them for long enough. Absolutely. Yeah, it depends on the problem. Like your teeth? Yeah, my teeth went away. Good example. Let's see here. Surgery didn't ruin his marriage. Using his wife as a live-in nurse and maid. She wanted out for a long time. She kindly waited until the marriage was healthier. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good thing. It's nice of her to do that. I don't know what happened really between their relationship. All I'm saying is that I think that, you know, you can draw correlations. Sure. Let's see here. What made me stop watching and supporting Boogie is I got sick to death every day of video conversation turning into a pity party. Yes, exactly. And do other people telling you to give us a heads up? Yeah. Nobody, I didn't come to YouTube to listen to someone else whine and moan about it every other minute. Sometimes I want to see how someone's doing, update video once a month or something, or you have it on another channel. You know, you have it on another channel and you don't make a big deal out of it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You don't want to have pity party content. Nobody wants to be part of a fucking pity party. This is a good video by Sunny. I saw Boogie was not happy about this video on Twitter. I think that this video was much more fair than I had expected it to be. Because I remember I had watched one of Sunny's videos about Boogie. This was like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, this guy's kind of a dick, right? But like, I actually think Sunny's content's gotten a lot better. And I really like, I watch pretty much every single one of his videos. Like, even the ones that I don't react to, I probably watch anyway. I love his videos. He's one of my favorite content creators on YouTube. I think this video was pretty fair. There were some like small things of like language where he said like making $1,000 in donations and it was actually YouTube revenue, etc. Right? Like, I mean, it's kind of like misleading, but like I don't think that like that means that he was trying to like make Boogie look bad. You know, like it's not enough. But like it's just what happens. He's here. Who's here? Boogie's been tweeting just now, arguing with someone about suicide comments. Listen, bro, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Sunny has gotten better. Sunny is great. Like what really impresses me the most about his content is how consistent and how frequent it is. Like you would expect these type of like video essay deep dives into content creators. Like you'd expect this like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe once a month. But he's able to bring one of these out like more than once a week sometimes, most of the time even. That's really impressive. And it usually it's very compelling topics. So yeah, anyway, all I'm really trying to get at here is Sunny can talk about someone and criticize him without making it into a huge hate party. And that's the problem, right? It's like somebody watches this video and then they go and tell Boogie to kill himself. And it really sucks because like you can't talk and like give feedback to a content creator without somebody with like a fucking mental illness using this as a platform to spread their hate. It sucks. It really does. But I think Sunny feels the same way that I do, feels the same way as Boogie does. Everybody feels this way. That's not Sunny's fault. It's really not. Like, I think that there are some cases where somebody makes a video that's hostile or negative about someone else, and then in the process of that, it causes the hate to happen. I think that, yes, that does happen sometimes. This is, I don't think, an example of that. This video doesn't exactly spread love either. I don't think that it's required for you to spread love inside of a video that's critical. It doesn't spread love for him, but I think you can be critical of a person without soliciting personal hate and personal attacks. I feel like this is absolutely possible for you to do this. Who cares? Me. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the show. It doesn't spread love. The Brooklyn way, you know? I don't know what the fuck that is. If you're contemplating suicide because someone on the internet told you so, you have a bigger problem to look at. Yeah, I think that's true, but it doesn't mean that it's okay to say that to people, right? I mean, that's all I'm really saying. I think, like, yes, obviously, it's not about contemplating suicide. It's about something just being deteriorating towards somebody's mental health. It's not like, oh, it's going to make somebody kill themselves if somebody says this. It's mentally deteriorating and exhausting emotionally, if that makes sense. Bother Reckful a lot? Well, it bothers a lot of people. Nobody wants to be told that. Seems like some girls, like, it bothers them a lot whenever they're called fat. You know, other girls it doesn't. It's just different things for different people. It's just how things are. That's life.